is very Nicholas Winding Refn. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I was gonna
beautiful.
say I got it, especially with the music, and then like when they were showing the swirling, it reminded me of like Jupiter.
Yes.
And then they had that music playing. Like the soundtrack was awesome. The
It
score for this, and it reminded me a lot of Mandy. I was gonna bring that up, but you beat me to it.
Yes, yes, and that's because I didn't talk about this in my write up, but this was done by Spectre Vision, who is it's Elijah Wood's studio or
Oh
company,
wow, that's cool.
you know, and they also did Mandy and a bunch of other, you know, they have a handful of films that they've done over the, you know, what 5 or 6 years they've been around. I know you just figured out when we did was it what's the Come to Daddy, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh shit, I had no idea that he even had a, you know, like a production studio.
yeah, it was news to me.
But
But I was gonna say, the way they introduced or reintroduced Daniel as a young adult, or however old Luke is supposed to be, um, they play it the same way. Like you kind of, he's almost like you want to like him, and then it slowly turns like he turns sour. You know what I mean? Because when you first meet him as a kid, he's like, oh, he's just like he's an imaginary friend that wants to play with him and kind of help him cope with the tragedy that he's seen. And it goes from like, oh, let's kill your mom. But then the same thing with this one, where he's kind of like when he's taking the test, when Luke is taking the test in one of his classes, and then Daniel gets up in the middle of class and he takes his shirt off and he has all the equations written on his body.
He is the cheat sheet.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But I love that how they kind of it goes from like kind of liking him, and then going back to like how he's like super sinister.
well, you know, it's really weird because there's a lot of points where he's genuinely seems like he's trying to look out for Luke, and then he gets jealous, or it gets to him that he's like helping out Luke, and Luke is the only one who's really getting the credit, you know,
Right.
like nobody, like the title, you know, entails. It's like he's not really there. Even when they jumping ahead towards the middle of the movie, when they actually do the body swap, and Daniel like takes full control of Luke's body. This what's her name? Sophie takes a picture of Luke, but it's really Daniel, and Daniel gets upset because he looks at the picture and he still looks like Luke. You know what I mean? Like he desperately kind of wants to be his own kind of entity, and it seems like there's some kind of hidden jealousy, and then there's like undertones, and maybe I'm completely like looking too deep into this, but some of the stuff like when, you know, Patrick is like half naked in a lot of this shit, where it's like kind of like homoerotic stuff going on under themes. Like they don't try to like cram it down your throat, or it's not like weird or anything, but I feel like it's definitely there. I don't know if it's just up for interpretation, but I get like kind of romantic kind of things happening once they become adults. Like even, all right, think about when Daniel first comes back and his mom is like breaking glass all around the house, and they go into the bathroom, and the first shot you see of Daniel, I think like big Daniel, Patrick Schwarzenegger, is he's in the bathtub naked with rose petals. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of like, it's weird to think about, because this guy is a demon. Like, why is he so? Why is he so? First of all, why is he so obsessed with looking so goddamn perfect?
I guess I could buy into that if I got like dive deeper into it, I guess.
You know, and it's not. It's something that's more It's more coded, I would say. It's
Right.
not. You know. I mean, like you. It's not. It's not in your face. It's more, I guess,
Yeah.
layered in there. But no,
Hey,
Ashley.
that super sick silk robe with the fishnet shirt.
Yeah, you remember that?
Pretty dope.
Again, you know, and people have said that they think that Fight Club is some kind of like homoerotic, I guess. And it's just like, well, are you just saying that because the guys are good looking or Brad Pitt's good looking? I don't know, dude.
Well, I since it's an interesting take on like possession, and this is obviously some type of demonic entity.
Yes.
I can see like a demon, having that type of vanity if he had, such like powers and stuff like that,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
When did we don't find out until pretty much the end, the last 15 minutes or so, that he's an actual demon, right?
Yeah.
Is it 15 minutes?
It's like, I would say maybe 15, 20. I think it's when they do the therapy session.
Yeah.
Or
Hypnosis.
the hypno. Yeah.
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 When he manifests himself inside the therapist, or in front of the therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a big mistake. The therapist again makes a huge mistake. Let's we're gonna hypnotize each other, and and that just like allows Daniel to, for him to finally see Daniel and know that Luke isn't crazy, and it's very unnerving, because he's just basically like I'm gonna hurt you right now, and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. And then he
Just gonna open this guy up.
yeah.
Oh, that was so gnarly.
Yeah. Not since Amy Smart ripped her fucking jaw off in the mirror or in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Have I felt like that? They pretty much rip off his jaw and then just keep going.
I don't think he ripped it off though. I think he just like stretched him open to like this chasm, yeah.
And then dove in with ease, and they really shot that. That was real, so it was pretty cool to see the execution of that. It's pretty wild. And then and then Luke or Miles wakes up. Also, that kid is also going places, just like Jenna Ortega. He is Miles is Susan Sarandon's boy, her son, and he's on. I feel like he's starting to take off. He was in the 2018 Halloween. He was the boyfriend who gets murked.
He was in Blockers too.
Yes, he's really funny in Blockers.
Yeah.
I feel like he really like, as much as I think Patrick is a powerhouse in this, Miles comes back because they're doing essentially a horror version of Face Off in this,
Right.
When you get more into the meat of the film, that's kind of what it is because Miles is forced to play Daniel, and he does a really fucking good job, a sincere job, where you feel he gets all the nuances and the kind of idiosyncrasies down and everything, and it's just fascinating to watch him after Daniel has taken him over.
Play two different characters.
Yeah, especially with how shy and kind of detached Luke is, and then when Daniel takes over his body and he has to take on this new persona, there's like no hesitation. It's just bam, 100% conviction there, and I loved it.
I thought it was really cool that his girlfriend, the painter, that she could kind of, when she did the painting of Luke, and he's like, oh, what's that behind me, and then she's like, oh, that's like the shadow behind, however she said it, but basically it was she was seeing, I think, in a way, seeing Daniel.
Oh yeah, 100%, because again, you don't know when you see that painting at first, you don't know the true form of Daniel, but then when it's revealed that he's this demon, and you see he has like these kind of splintery, like,
kind of looks like a crown.
I was going to say that, yeah, it looks like a crown.
Yeah, and then you figure out, or at least I did, that that's the kind of like that's what she had painted as his shadow, is that crown kind of shape, which is scary. And we really haven't talked about Cassie's character, which is Sasha Lane. And have either one of you guys seen American Honey?
I haven't. I know she was in it.
It's she's with Shia LaBeouf, and that's a great movie. She's fucking phenomenal in it, and I think she's kind of underused in this. They could have. I feel like she should have had a little bit more to do, but what they do give her is she's great.
She had a cool little fight scene.
Yeah, when Luke gets fully possessed, because they kind of hint throughout the movie that when Luke dozes off or loses consciousness, even when he gets drunk, that Daniel is able to kind of possess him and do whatever he wants with his body, manipulate his body however he wants. Like, so, remember when they say that he was texting Sophie and told them to come over, and then Luke finally, he barely wakes up, and then they're coming over and shit, and he's like, Daniel's just standing there like, oh yeah, we've been texting, and Sophie's telling him that, like, oh yeah, Luke is like a little perv and all this kind of stuff. So, it's all leading up to this huge build-up when he finally possesses him. And at this point, Luke's life is kind of derailed and nobody trusts him. Even Cassie's already throwing him out because she thinks he's like gone crazy or something. And so Daniel goes and gets like a kind of makeover done, which is hilarious. And goes back to Cassie's studio and tries to, and she lets him in, which is a super, like, I probably wouldn't have done that. She lets him in,
right,
kind of with ease. After,
I mean, as a side note on that, she also, while meeting Luke, was like, oh yeah, there's blood in this guy's house, that he could be lying to me. Oh yeah, my mom's in the hospital, she hurt herself. Oh yeah, you should come to this party with me.
Okay, yeah. So
this total stranger, so this isn't like out of character.
I guess when you put it in that perspective, then I can see it more. And she just seems like she's very empathetic, she's that kind of starving artist persona where she wants to, I don't know, she just seems like a really down to earth person that's going to give you more shots than more chances.
Absolutely.
than you deserve, and that's not always a bad thing, but in this case it put her in danger. So Daniel Daniel as Luke comes in, and he's kind of offering her a partnership. For some reason, he's like, it seems like he was fascinated with her. I'm not sure if he was just toying with her or not. But then, Luke had already given her a painting that the kid the kid from the beginning of the movie had done, which we're going to have to go over before or after I make my point here. But so she's seeing like that the similarities of how they're dressed are too weird, and that he was probably telling the truth, and that she's not actually talking to Luke, she's talking to Daniel. And then Daniel notices she's acting kind of standoffish and looks down and sees the drawing or the painting, and then like a fight ensues, right?
Yeah, that's when she realizes that it's not Luke anymore.
And she basically like verbally challenges him, and he's like, "Oh, I really like when you painted me," and she's like, "I didn't paint you. I painted the real Luke."
Right.
And that's when like that's when